Well, I would say Benavidez, but he's too, you know, that weight class is too high for him. So, you know, where he's at now is great.
David, do you think Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo?
Nah, I wouldn't fight Crawford. I'm at 175.
And Terence Crawford,
No.
Playing for that fight. Maybe planning on vacating the belts.
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts.
Coach Brian Bomac McIntyre sparked controversy after the fight when asked about Turki Alalshikh's proposal for a fight between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. Bulik firmly rejected the idea, stating that Crawford did not need that type of matchup.
You just sit for a minute and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing.
Anis,
And he don't want it.
He also told fans that facing Boots Anis would not benefit Canelo because Crawford is a completely different fighter than Anis.
performance prove about the Ennis sparring? You guys were largely
I told you it don't make no
it.
difference. Didn't I say it? I said that don't mean shit. I don't give a damn about that.
Yeah.
I said that, didn't I?
Yeah,
That's one of those interviews. I said that. Don't mean shit. Because he's no Bud Crawford. I'm not taking nothing from Ennis, you know, Bozy, them over there, them my guys. Shit, but bringing in that, which is good for Canelo, but it didn't do no good in the fight.
The whole David Benavidez issue began when Alalshikh, a key figure in Saudi boxing, tweeted just hours after Crawford's big win. He congratulated Terence Crawford on his historic victory, noting that he secured the undisputed super lightweight title and became the first fighter to be undisputed in 3 different divisions. He also thanked Canelo Alvarez for putting on a great show. Then, hinting at the next possible move, he asked a question that set social media buzzing: can David Benavidez still make 168 pounds? Greg Hackett commented on the sudden talk of a fight between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. He said this wasn't a confirmed matchup and seemed driven more by money and fame than fairness. Hackett added that Crawford didn't need Benavidez to prove himself, and that Benavidez could seriously harm his body trying to drop to 168 pounds after previously fighting at 175.
And they think the money is going to keep getting him out there. That fight is pointless. The fight is pointless because nobody ever talked about that fight until now. And then I don't feel like Bud needs a Benavidez. And then that would mean Benavidez would have to go into a different body and bring himself back down to 68 when he's already getting settled in at 170.
Hackett then explained why the talk between Crawford and Benavidez was mostly exaggerated. According to him, Turki Alalshikh was using the discussion to showcase his marketing skills. He did add, however, that fights can be exciting when they are not just for show.
Some tough tasks in front of him that he want to conquer before even talking like that. I don't even think he wanted to talk like that because there's really no point. He wanted the Canelo fight because Canelo was the man at 68 and he was at 68. I don't think he cared about fighting Bud, and I don't think Bud cared about fighting Benavidez. That's just Turkey trying to pull rank. So Turkey trying to show he got a gold.
One question people had about the potential fight was whether Crawford could move up in weight class. Many experts noted that he was already a 4-division world champion. However, he wasn't entirely proven at that level. Show the Adult, a boxing commentator and YouTube analyst, often questioned whether Crawford's record deserved all the attention he was receiving. Some critics have always argued that Crawford hadn't faced enough top-level competition or fully proven himself against the best fighters.
Is top 4 greatest fighters of all time. Do you understand how improbable this is? I thought Bud had no chance. I lost 20 grand. Not only is Terence Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, like I've said, if he were to win, because the probability of him winning against all the odds, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see how.
The story didn't highlight the positive side of this historic fight, which left one of the sport's most famous winners gaining weight and struggling. Crawford managed to make even his toughest critics reconsider his influence. In the hours following the fight, Chobus captured the transformation on video so it would not be forgotten.
Together, that guy, he can face anybody in history and be a problem. Him right there. Not only that, I think this cements the fact that everybody avoided him. This right here answers everything. Not only is Terence Bud Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, but everybody avoided him. And that sheds more light on how he beat Errol Spence.
Crawford became the first male boxer to hold all 4 major belts in 3 different weight classes, but he had to move up to 168 pounds to win all 4. No one else has matched that achievement. So even though Crawford wasn't technically a 4-division undisputed champion, he accomplished remarkable feats that set him apart. Many were surprised when Canelo Alvarez spoke boldly at the press conference after losing to Terence Crawford by majority decision. Instead of dodging the question, he praised Crawford and admitted he was the better fighter.
Contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
A longtime boxing reporter named Dan Rafael shared his thoughts on the fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. According to Rafael, who has covered the sport for decades, what impressed him most was Crawford's ability to take control in the later rounds. He noted that Canelo had won the early rounds.
I thought it was close. I had Canelo ahead in the early going, but I thought Crawford did an amazing job closing that fight down in the last few rounds, where he really started to back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was a brilliant...
Rafael's comments further highlighted Crawford's achievement by emphasizing the historical significance of his win. He told Crawford that while he hadn't expected this fight, it was one he had always wanted and worked hard to make happen. Rafael added that Crawford rarely had opportunities to face bigger opponents because many doubted such a matchup could take place.
He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him and said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that. Canelo, because everybody who has ever read me, followed me, listened to me knows I love Canelo. I think he's one of the greats of all time. I think you can make a really good argument that he's the greatest Mexican of all time, even more than Chavez. That said, he is in decline. He's been in decline for the last few years. He hasn't been what we've seen him at his best since he beat Caleb Plant. You know, that Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Sanders time frame. And, you know, even though he's winning fights, you know, the knockouts haven't happened. He's gotten tired in the later part of the fights, and it's just common. It's the oldest saying in boxing: "Father Time is on the."
A well-known boxing reporter and ringside commentator, Sean Ziddle, discussed Terence Crawford's rising fame since his win over Canelo Alvarez. Ziddle said he has long recognized Crawford as a great boxer. In 2017, he even named Crawford the best pound-for-pound fighter, but he had never placed him among the sport's all-time greatest stars.
17, I always acknowledged him as the best counterpuncher in the game, one of the great counterpunchers, but I didn't see him as Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. I didn't see him as that. I saw him as the tier of greats right below that. Oscar, Shane, Mike McCallum, guys like that. And it turns out, no, he's with the best.
Ziddle then criticized some aspects of Crawford's technique in the fight against Canelo. He felt Crawford had absorbed Canelo's power with ease and displayed unmatched punch resistance for his weight class. Ziddle added that Canelo lost his rhythm during the fight, while Crawford opened the third and fourth rounds with a jab and gradually took control, dominating the match.
Crawford, I know Crawford felt it, but he had good punch resistance. He came up in weight beautifully, and then as time went on, his jab and his length, it's around that third and fourth round, really started to give Canelo fits. And then, number one, his bread and butter, his gift. Yes, he's got great tactics, great distance control, efficient footwork. He doesn't, and he took the air out of the ball when he wanted to in this.
Before the fight, it was clear that Canelo Alvarez would rely on his size, experience, and strength. Fans were curious because Canelo had been a champion before and knew how to handle pressure, even at super middleweight. After his loss to Terence Crawford, Canelo spoke to his fans on Instagram. He didn't complain. Instead, he accepted the setback and focused on the future. He shared his pride in his team's efforts, the sacrifices they made, and expressed gratitude to his family and friends who had always supported him. He especially thanked his wife Fernanda for standing by him, writing, "I'm proud of everything I've done so far. While you always want to win, I'm happy to lose and ready to learn from it. I've already won because my family and friends have never stopped cheering for me. Finally, I want to thank my wife Fernanda for being so patient and holding my hand through this whole thing. Good luck in Mexico, Mom." Meanwhile, the winner, the seasoned Terence Crawford, displayed a rare lack of composure during a press conference after his historic victory. He got angry when fans mocked a reporter who had criticized him on camera. This wasn't just a performance. Crawford was confronting the narrative the media had built about him for a long time.
Three-time undisputed champion, the first ever in the 2, 3, or 4 belt era, and you became the second undisputed champion in 3 weight classes when there was only one champion back in 1938 with Henry Armstrong. That's a lot of stuff.
You hear that? You hear that?
Boxing experts and reporters had told him for years that he wasn't exciting, couldn't attract fans, and was just average. Crawford voiced these criticisms loudly at the press conference, showing that he is now on the sport's biggest stage and has proven his doubters wrong.
I love it. It all goes hand in hand.
Can you describe what it all means to you to have, you just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, you know, anybody can be a nobody, like I said, you know, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies. So what can they say now?
When Canelo, the reigning champion, went in to defend his title, everything was at stake. It wasn't just the belts, but his reputation too. Losing meant he would no longer be king and would leave the arena without the fame that had defined him. In the end, Crawford won by unanimous decision and became the undisputed middleweight champion. This defeat cost Canelo all his belts in the division and, in the eyes of history, some of his claim to being the undisputed king. Joe Pitaya, the Australian cruiserweight world champion, spoke out immediately after Crawford's historic win over Canelo. Pitaya showed clear respect, saying Crawford earned the victory and that the result was obvious.
Listen, though, too smart. Like, what a technician.
Are you shocked or not?
Not at all. Not at all. That's how I pictured the fight going. So I'll picture the fight going that way. Man, impressive. You know what I mean? Coming up from all those weight divisions. Hit and don't get hit. That's the aim of the game. Yeah. Puts him differently in their list, but he's in everyone's list. You know what I mean? He's deserved his respect. He's one of the greats. And that Crawford name, that last name, that's written down in history. So, good on him.
He then discussed Crawford's rising reputation, noting that although it is still relatively recent, the Nebraska star's name is now officially among the sport's all-time greats. Pitaya said Crawford has earned respect within the boxing community and that his name is now a permanent part of the sport's history.
I was hoping that there was more action coming from Canelo. You know, I'm used to Canelo fighting that way all the time. You know, he tried his best. You know, he always has trouble against movers. I was really expecting them to be more punches, more movement by Canelo. Yeah, I mean, it was a situation where Terence Crawford's a tactician, and he throws combinations and he moves, and then, if you try and exchange with him, he's gone already. So you gotta be fast, you gotta punch him when he's punching.
It was nearly impossible to beat Canelo without using power as a key part of the fight. Early rounds showed that clean shots, especially to the body or when getting close to Crawford, could be effective. When asked about Terence Crawford's surprising win over Canelo Alvarez, former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis gave a clear opinion. He praised the fight overall but felt Alvarez didn't give his best effort. Lewis expected the Mexican star to throw more punches and move faster. Alvarez has often struggled against smooth, agile fighters like Crawford.
Well, many times, and I thought that this time he just boxed like he always boxes. And then I felt he couldn't really do nothing against Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford was too quick, too elusive. Anybody would find trouble with him, but Canelo couldn't find him. For Canelo to win a round, I say he won about 3 rounds in that fight. I was actually amazed at the way how Terence Crawford moved and never got hit, and threw combinations because that's what you're supposed to do, throw combinations. So he threw combinations. He wasn't trying to knock out Canelo, but he definitely was throwing a lot of punches.
This is what Lennox Lewis said after Canelo Alvarez lost to Terence Crawford. He noted that he had seen Canelo's style before and that this performance was typical for him, but Crawford's approach required more. Lewis explained that Canelo struggled to defend himself because Crawford's speed and reactions made it difficult to land clean shots or take control of the fight.
It's the morning after the big fight. Crawford Canelo. Shout outs to Crawford. You did it, boy. You did it. For those who still aren't quite sure what they witnessed last night, I'm going to let you know that you witnessed what is called a notorious boxing clinic. This is everything done right.
Most observers believe that Crawford's speed, timing, and intelligence, rather than his strength, led to Canelo's loss. Crawford made Canelo miss, putting him at a disadvantage and keeping control of the fight. While Canelo landed some strong punches, many only connected when Crawford allowed it, and Crawford managed the pace perfectly. Canelo was physically ideal for his weight class. Keith Thurman, former unified welterweight champion, described Crawford's performance as a masterclass in boxing. He said it wasn't just a victory, it showcased excellent fundamentals, timing and composure at the highest level. Many doubted that Crawford, as a super middleweight, could handle Canelo's power and speed, but he did, controlling the fight from start to finish.
Hit and don't get hit. That's boxing 101, people. It's actually the definition of boxing. For those who don't know the definition of boxing, it's to hit and not get hit. It's almost like a game of tag, to simplify it for you folks, all right? And yes, Crawford was tagging him. Not just with the jab, moving, but he was able to do another key factor, which is
Crawford's victory not only changed the title holders, but also reshaped the story of who the true super middleweight king is, leaving Canelo's future uncertain. At 34, Canelo has fought at the top level for years, and this loss could mark a turning point. His next steps will determine whether he rebuilds at a new weight or seeks a rematch. He now must accept that a fast, agile, and undefeated opponent defeated him on one of boxing's biggest stages. When asked about Canelo's heavy punching power at super middleweight, Crawford remained calm, noting that Canelo's shots were different from anything he had faced before. He emphasized that he had handled tough fighters before and believed he performed well. On the stakes of the fight, Timothy Bradley Jr. didn't hesitate. He said this bout was more than significant, it was crucial for Canelo's reputation. Bradley explained that if Crawford had lost, his image as Alvarez's benchmark would have suffered, especially since he had moved up several weight classes to take on the challenge.
Or like, have you been hit by anybody that strong before?
I've been hit harder.
No, in a real fight, not a sparring.
In a real fight. Not Avanesian, but Mean Machine hit harder than Canelo, to me. To be honest.
Congratulations.
That's the story. Terence Crawford did more than just win a fight. He made history despite the doubts. Even though many didn't believe in him, he faced Canelo Alvarez and came out on top, proving that true greatness isn't limited by weight. Boxing, known as the sweet science, shines on nights like this, showing skill, heart, and legacy all at once. If you enjoyed this intense fight, please like and share it with other boxing fans. Share your thoughts below. What do you think? Crawford's place is now among the all-time greats. Subscribe and click the bell because the next chapter of this story is only getting better, and you don't want to miss it.